Right now on Good Morning America, first look, wicked weather. Extreme cold hits the Northeast and Midwest as heavy snow makes for a dangerous commute. Thousands of flights delayed and hundreds canceled. In the Northwest, a massive atmospheric river now threatens to bring flooding rains to major cities.
Demanding the video, Democrats putting pressure on the Trump administration to release video of the second attack on a suspected drug boat.
This video was profoundly shaken.
This as the Supreme Court hears a landmark case that could create a seismic shift for presidential powers.
Overnight, President Trump criticizing Ukrainian's President Zelensky as his son suggests the U.S. may walk away from Ukraine if a peace deal isn't reached soon. It comes as the UN delivers a troubling update on the protective shield covering the Chernobyl nuclear reactor.
Chaos in the cockpit.
What's wrong?
The new audio of the moment a former pilot tried to turn off the engines of a passenger plane mid-flight.
Plus, the comeback music festival from the man behind the infamous Fyre Fest.
And the basketball pass off the court that has everyone talking.
And the giant panda cub who is making history and melting hearts around the world.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America. First look.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Hannah Batam.
I'm Sophie Flay. We begin with weather extremes being felt by millions this Monday morning from coast to coast.
Heavy rain creating a week-long flood threat in the Northwest, but we start with the snow and the cold. This morning, extreme weather impacting millions from coast to coast. Heavy snow making for treacherous travel on the roads in Iowa, up to 8 inches falling in some areas. And in Chicago, residents are digging out after another round of snow, the city getting more than 17 inches in just the last few weeks, the most by this point in the season since 1978. Farther east, snow blanketed upstate New York, but that didn't stop Buffalo Bills fans from tailgating. The game against the Cincinnati Bengals turning into a winter wonderland.
He throws. He's got a touchdown.
The Bills celebrating in the end zone with snow angels. Temperatures during the game were in the low 30s, but are already dropping. Today, it'll feel like 6 degrees in Buffalo, 9 in Chicago, and as low as 0 in Minneapolis. In the South, multiple rounds of rain are bringing relief from Louisiana to Florida, easing drought conditions throughout the region. Across the country, people in the Pacific Northwest are being told to prepare as an atmospheric river is set to bring intense flooding with up to a foot of rain possible in some areas.
Flood watches hold through Friday from Eugene to Seattle and in the mountains of northern Idaho with a fire hose of moisture dropping rounds of heavy rain and snow. By Friday, we could see up to a foot of rain in the Cascades. The elevation and saturation after that many days mean that flooding is a real risk all week long.
The weather has contributed to hundreds of flight cancellations and thousands of delays nationwide Sunday. We'll check the full forecast in just a moment.
Now to the showdown over those September boat strikes in the Caribbean. The Trump administration is facing growing calls to release the full video of the strikes. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Nicole, good morning.
Sophie, good morning. On Capitol Hill, Democrats are pressuring the Trump administration to release video of a controversial second strike on an alleged drug boat off Venezuela. But Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is not making any promises.
This morning, growing pressure on the Trump administration to release the full video of those September strikes on an alleged drug boat that killed 11 people, including 2 people who initially survived.
It's really important that people see what it looks like when the full force of the United States military is turned on 2 guys who are clinging to a piece of wood.
Congressman Jim Hines, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee who has seen the footage, says the attack could have violated international law. Republicans defending the attack.
It looked at one point like they were trying to flip the boat back over, presumably to rescue its cargo and continue their mission.
A source tells ABC News that after the initial strike, the video shows the survivors clinging for their lives to the wreckage of the overturned boat, appearing incapacitated and waving to something overhead. Another source says roughly 40 minutes after that first attack, the military struck again, killing those survivors. President Trump last week saying he supports the release of the full video.
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem.
But Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth less decisive.
We're reviewing that right now.
And Hegseth had previously said he only saw the first strike live and learned of the second hours later, but now says he was told a reattack was needed because survivors could still be in the fight. Hannah.
Nicole, thank you. President Trump is again criticizing President Zelensky, saying he is not ready to accept the U.S. peace plan to end the war in Ukraine. After a weekend of talks between American and Ukrainian negotiators in Florida, Trump says he is, quote, a little bit disappointed, claiming last night that Zelensky has not even read the proposal yet. His comments coming on the heels of a massive Russian drone attack and the president's eldest son suggesting that his father might walk away from Ukraine if there is no peace deal.
Because America has set a precedent for decades that they'll just write the check. But if the will of the people isn't there, everyone needs to step up. Everyone has to do their share. But if we default to the old ways of America's just going to be the big idiot with a checkbook, that's not going to work.
Meanwhile, a UN watchdog says they still have not been able to fix the protective shield covering the Chernobyl nuclear reactor in Ukraine. It has not been functioning properly since it was damaged in a Russian drone strike. Experts think the current risk of danger there, though, is low. New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani is telling immigrants they can stand up to ICE. Mamdani posted a video outlining the rights of immigrants when dealing with federal immigration agents. He explained they have a right to refuse agents' requests to enter their homes or other private spaces, and they do not have to speak to them.
ICE is legally allowed to lie to you, but you have the right to remain silent. If you're being detained, you may always ask, "Am I free to go?" repeatedly until they answer you. You are legally allowed to film ICE as long as you do not interfere with an arrest.
Mamdani says New York will always welcome immigrants. The video comes just weeks after his cordial Oval Office visit with President Trump.
Turning to last night's Kennedy Center honors, President Trump breaking with long-standing tradition and hosting the ceremony himself. It comes as his presidential power faces a major test today in the Supreme Court. ABC's Alison Kosik has more.
Overnight, President Trump hitting the red carpet moments before becoming the first president to host the annual Kennedy Center honors in Washington, D.C.
Mr. President, how have you prepared to host tonight?
Well, maybe I haven't prepared. Maybe you want to be a little bit loose.
Sylvester Stallone, Kiss, and Gloria Gaynor, Michael Crawford, and George Strait all honored for their influence on American culture and the arts. They received the first redesigned awards, featuring a navy blue ribbon which replaces the iconic rainbow one, which the White House described as tacky. The Kennedy Center saying the new blue color represents dignity and tradition. The change comes just days after the administration made a major change to the list of fee-free days at the country's national parks. The administration removing Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Juneteenth from the free list and adding President Trump's own birthday, which the Parks Department notes falls on Flag Day.
This is a slap in the face, not just to African Americans, but to Americans at large. And then the narcissism unleashed to take it away from Dr. King and laud it upon himself says that America is going backward.
Meantime, a pivotal showdown over presidential power at the Supreme Court today. The justices are hearing arguments on whether the White House has the authority to fire the leaders of independent federal agencies without cause. A ruling in Trump's favor would overturn 90 years of precedent.
Congress designed those agencies to be free from direct supervision of the White House, to be bipartisan, to be independent. And key to that is that members can only be fired by a president for cause. Donald Trump says that is unconstitutional, that presidents must be able to remove those members at will.
A decision from the Supreme Court is expected in June. As for the nation's national parks, next month, millions of international tourists who visit U.S. parks each year will be charged an extra $100 to enter some of the most popular sites, while leaving them out of fee-free days reserved for American residents. Hannah, Sophie?
Allison, thank you. Some good news about the National Guard member who survived a deadly attack in the nation's capital. The mother of 24-year-old Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf says he's surpassing expectations and doctors are scaling back on his pain medication. Wolf and 20-year-old Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom were shot in an ambush-style attack the day before Thanksgiving. Beckstrom did not survive.
The 7th largest Powerball jackpot ever is up for grabs tonight. It'll be worth an estimated $875 million.
Whoa. Time now for your Monday morning weather.
Good Monday morning. We're tracking a few weather trouble spots across the country today, including the Pacific Northwest. Atmospheric river slamming moisture on shore. Could be upwards of 2 to 4 inches of rain per day today right through Friday. Places like Portland and Seattle and, of course, the mountains, the highest mountains, will be getting some snowfall. Speaking of snow, accumulating snow, parts of West Virginia, all the way down to the coast could be 1 to 3 inches. Cold in the Northeast, only in the upper 20s in New York City. Meteorologist Jeff Smith, ABC News.
Coming up, new evidence released in the case of Luigi Mangione.
Also ahead, new audio released of the moment a former pilot tried to shut down the engines of a passenger plane.
And later, an NBA player makes the pass of the day while he was on the bench.
Back now at the spectacular lava fountains erupting from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano over the weekend, some of them reaching 1,000 feet in the air. A video camera was a little too close to the action there. It streamed its own demise as it was buried in lava and debris.
Luigi Mangione's pretrial hearing resumes today in New York. The court authorized an additional release of evidence over the weekend, including photos of an alleged to-do list and a pocket knife. Mangione is charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The defense is trying to get the judge to toss out key evidence, including the alleged murder weapon. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to both state and federal charges.
For the first time, we are hearing audio from inside a passenger plane cockpit of the moment a now former pilot tried to cut off the engines. ABC's Jacqueline Lee reports.
New audio and video revealing the chaos in the cockpit as a former Alaska Airlines pilot tried to shut down the engines of a passenger plane in October 2023.
What's wrong? Hey! What's going on?
Horizon Flight 2059 was heading from Everett, Washington to San Francisco when off-duty pilot Joseph Emerson, riding in the jump seat, tried to pull the fire suppression handles and putting the lives of 83 other people on board in jeopardy.
We need to go direct to Portland now.
The plane making an emergency landing at Portland International Airport. This material, first obtained by NBC's Portland affiliate KGW, also showing Emerson under arrest, admitting he had taken psychedelic mushrooms 2 days earlier and had not slept in 48 hours.
So were you trying to kill yourself? I was trying to wake up. Trying to wake up. Because I don't feel like this is real.
Emerson pled guilty in federal court to interfering with flight crew members. He was fired by the airline and lost his pilot's license. Emerson telling ABC News in 2024 that he wishes he could take it all back.
I did something unfathomable to me, something I have to take responsibility for, and I regret.
Emerson was sentenced to time served. He and his wife have since started a nonprofit focused on mental health support for pilots. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Jacqueline, thanks. Coming up, the Christmas Tree Festival that's lighting up again after devastating wildfires.
Also ahead, a closer look at the podcast boom as they get their own category at the Golden Globes. Back now with an emotional tree lighting ceremony in Altadena, California over the weekend. None of the 153 cedars on Christmas Tree Lane were lost in January's deadly wildfire. So now, more than 20,000 lights glow from many of them. The tradition is more than 100 years old. Residents call it a good symbol of their recovery.
Happy they were able to do that this year. And hours before that, Santa was in western North Carolina getting ready for all those chimneys by rappelling off of what's known as Chimney Rock. Santa's been sharpening his skills there for about 28 years, and he's got another workout planned for this coming Saturday.
It's a big day for podcasts. In a few hours, we'll see which ones are up for one of the biggest awards in Hollywood, but it's still a medium that, among the most popular podcasts, lacks diversity, and researchers are looking into who we're listening to and who we're not.
There's no denying it. Podcasts are the medium of the moment.
Daddy Gang, can you hear me?
This one's a crazy story.
Roughly 115 million Americans consume them every week. That's approaching Super Bowl numbers. So who are we listening to? Studies show it's mostly white men.
Across the top 100 podcasts, it tilts primarily male. Only 36% of all hosts are women behind the mic.
Dominating the charts this year, podcasters who have become household names like Theo Von, Shane Gillis, and in the #1 spot, Joe Rogan.
I couldn't stop laughing.
Who are they interviewing? Women make up just 18% of guests on podcasts hosted by men. That's even lower for women of color.
Only 7% of the top 100 podcast hosts are women of color. There's a lot of folks whose needs and interests aren't being met.
Experts say when one group dominates the mic, it creates echo chambers, leaving out opposing or differing views. Research suggests algorithms often favor established male-hosted shows, making it harder for new voices to break through. Meanwhile, as podcasts shape more of our culture, they're being recognized for the first time at a major award show, the Golden Globes. A major step for an industry some say deserve more respect.
There's been this unwillingness to really embrace it because anyone can just grab a podcast microphone, sit on a camera, and start talking and call themselves a podcaster.
Golden Globe nominations will be announced today. Our colleagues at ABC's 2020 are among those eligible in the podcast category.
Coming up, the guy behind the infamous Fyre Fest finally managed to put on a music festival.
Plus, the new video of a baby panda that is almost too cute for words. You don't want to miss it.
Aww.
Time to check the pulse, and we begin with reaction to this weekend's Phoenix Festival.
Yeah, so this was organized by Billy McFarland, who spent 4 years in prison after his disastrous 2017 Fyre Festival. This one was held in Honduras, with tickets costing up to $500,000.
Well, some gave McFarland credit for actually making it happen. The majority of online reactions were scathing. One comment calling it dozens of people having an okay time. Now to a bouncing baby boy getting lots of cuddles from his mom.
Introducing Rio, the first giant panda born in Indonesia. Officials at the conservation park say at 11 days old, Rio is showing signs of good health. He's noisy, nursing well, even gaining weight. Rio's 15-year-old mom also seems to be doing great. And speaking of youngsters, it was Kids Day at the New York Knicks game.
One kid even made it onto the Knicks bench. Hayes Hart was hanging with his father, Josh. When the Knicks star was called back into the action, Hayes was quickly given to a teammate. After the game, Hayes was asked to comment.
You guys say anything?
Give it a big kiss.
No.
Josh Hart finished with 17 points. His teammate Mitchell Robinson had 2 assists, not counting helping with babysitting. A private school in Australia is going old school.
Officials there are urging parents to buy flip phones for their kiddos because smartphones are no longer allowed there even when traveling to and from school. This move is aimed at complying with the government's new social media ban for children under 16.
The school says the new policy will help students remain focused. We'll check those top headlines next.
Taking a look at your top stories this morning, the Trump administration facing growing calls to release the full video of a controversial follow-up strike on a suspected drug boat that killed 2 survivors. But Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is refusing to commit to making that video public.
The city of San Diego has agreed to one of the largest settlements ever stemming from a police killing. The $30 million payout will go to the family of 16-year-old Kanoa Wilson. He was shot and killed in January by officers while he was running from a gunman.
21 people were hurt at London's Heathrow Airport after police say assailants used pepper spray during a robbery in a parking garage. At least 5 of the injured were taken to hospitals. 1 man was arrested. The incident disrupted travel around the airport for hours.
Today's weather, heavy rain and snow in the northwest, rain and snow also for the mid-Atlantic, and frigid temperatures from the plains to New England.
And finally, 2 people and their second shot at love.
And it all started in a pool, as Danny New shows us.
A few weeks ago in Maryville, Illinois, the YMCA's water aerobics class took a day off from swimming.
We canceled the class, but everybody that was coming to the class came to the wedding.
Instead, the class congregated to celebrate the wedding of Ed and Marlene here, who met in this very class 3 years ago. As Marlene put it,
"We're right where we want to be, in class."
The festivities began with Ed and Marlene each exiting their respective locker rooms. Ed in a tuxedo shirt, top hat, and cane, and Marlene in a bridal shirt, veil, and tutu. Once they entered the pool, their aquatics director began the ceremony with their classmates standing by and other YMCA patrons still getting their laps in behind them.
And I think everybody had a ball, but they're still talking about it.
Well, their love may look effortless now, but at first, Ed and Marlene understandably were hesitant about another relationship. They both had lost their spouses of many years around the same time in 2019 and 2020, and neither thought they would ever marry again.
Right person hit the right shower, and here I am, married man again.
Needless to say, they met in class, became friends, and before long were launching naval attacks in the pool.
We start getting playful. We start splashing each other, and until the lifeguard blows her whistle at us.
Couple of bad boys.
Yeah. Bad boys, yeah.
Big surprise, their wedding was playful too. In fact, not only was there a bouquet toss, but at one point Ed reached underwater and took her garter.
Then I threw it to the only single guy in the pool.
And then they held each other during their first dance, with their classmates swaying in a circle around them. But then it was time to splash each other. By the way, guys, Ed has 37 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and 4 great-great-grandchildren. So he likes to joke that as soon as Marlene said I do, she became a great-great-grandmother.
Thanks, Danny. That's your Good Morning America first look. Have a great day, everyone.